Welcome, and thanks for your interest in print shop marketing. To give you an idea of the type of training we provide and how we do it, we pulled together a few short snippets from some of our training videos. You'll see that we focus on providing you information that's both very practical and immediately usable. If you're tired and frustrated and want some real help getting your printing business headed in a positive direction, give us a call. Now here's some samples from our series of training videos. For many small print shops, business is really tough today. We know intuitively that increased competition and a weak market are the primary cause. Since visualization is often helpful, we've used a process from the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. It's called a strategy canvas, and we use it to try to show why so many print shop owners are struggling. The goal here is to look at the strategies of the print shop's competitors along with the typical small and quick print shop's strategy. We start by putting the competition into groups and came up with an online group that would include Vistaprint and others. Then we have the big box group that includes national or regional office supply and mailing store chains such as Staples and UPS stores. Lastly, we have a group containing local mail houses, letter shops, and other small to medium-sized local print shops. Next, we identify what we think are the key marketplace elements that differentiate one supplier from another, such as price, the time to deliver, the availability of artwork and templates for customers, online ordering, and so forth. Now we plot out the strategies. Let's take the online print suppliers as an example. Their strategy seems pretty clear. It's low price, decent delivery times, lots of templates, and virtually everything gets done over the internet. The online suppliers aren't really interested in providing special service or special products. They don't really do mailing or data work, one-to-one or variable data printing, or even marketing or cross-media services. So then we plot out the strategies for everyone else. We can debate the points on the canvas, but the big picture is pretty clear. The small and quick print shop's strategy sits virtually on top of the strategy of their competitors. It also indicates that there's no area where our small printers dominate, no place where the small print shop is the clear choice for customers. They aren't the lowest price, they aren't the fastest delivery, they aren't the most convenient, etc. This is the problem many small print shop owners face today, a poor business strategy that leads to poor business. Now let's look at a vastly different canvas, one where the small print shops utilize elements that are naturally advantageous for them. For example, custom service. Small print shops are used to providing custom service. It's one of the few things that differentiates them from the large competitors. The online and big box folks don't deviate very far from their cookie cutter services. Similarly, the online and big box folks don't do direct mailing. They don't fix data. They don't offer VDP or help with marketing and cross-media efforts. However, these are areas where small printers can and should dominate in the marketplace. We'll talk more about these later and how they don't require buying or learning any software. But let's move on. Some will point out that the strategic curve for the small printers remains unchanged for price, delivery, etc. And that's okay. Here's why. We'll look at doing, using, and selling data-related work in a moment, but first let's make sure we have a common understanding about data. What exactly is data? Data is two or more datums. Data is the plural of datum. A datum is a qualitative or quantitative item. The numbers 98.6, 99.3, 100.7, and 101.2 might be data, but they're really nothing. However, if we label them as a person's body temperature, then we have data. If we compare these body temperatures to those for healthy people and for ill people, then we have what we call information. If we can describe processes to make body temperatures go up or go down, then we have knowledge. People sometimes use data, information, and knowledge interchangeably. Now you can see that there's a relationship between the three. Data is vital in getting to know your target audience, your customers, and getting to know your target audience is a critical marketing activity. From a marketing perspective, you want to know as much as possible about your customers as a group and as individuals if possible. Data helps you describe or define your customers as a group with different traits, characteristics, and behavior from other groups. The more data you have, the more precisely you can define or know your target audience. And the more you know about your target audience, the better you can tailor your product and your message to be effective and/or successful. In the retail or B2C world, gender is probably the most. A question that comes up all the time is, what type of images get the most attention, or some variation on that theme? The question really is, what's the secret image that gets my piece noticed above all others? Well, there is no secret type of image, and it depends on your message and your audience. Actually, the answer to the question takes us into the realms of neuroscience, psychology, and other stuff we can't possibly cover here. However, we know that getting attention means properly stimulating the brain to tell the eye to focus on something. This is the eye-brain interaction. Researchers acknowledge this as a complex process, and we are far from understanding all of it. But we do have some theories and anecdotal evidence. When someone looks at a pile of papers or mail, how can you increase the likelihood that he or she will pull your piece out from among all the other pieces? Well, it helps to use images that stimulate the eye-brain relationship. For example, we know from testing that images of people, of familiar places or familiar things, or those with strong shadows stimulate the brain to have the eye focus on them for further scrutiny. Many of the responses to images that we desire are thought to result from automatic human reaction to certain stimuli. A quick example is the way the eye is drawn to shadows. Shadows help us understand our spatial orientation, our relationship to the world around us, in other words. That in itself makes shadows important visual stimuli. However, it's also thought that shadows can draw our attention since they may contain danger. Danger such as holes to fall into, unseen enemies, or all sorts of other bad things. The brain focuses on shadows to determine what the shadow may be hiding. Your eyes and brains have already worked quite hard to understand what might be in the shadows surrounding the man in the picture. We'll cover